Hey everyone, it is the Sleepy One coming back with the second half of my haul video. I keep making these giant hauls. Whoa. That's my nitro coffee brew can making a loud noise. Not me farting this time. So yeah, I've got last time I showed you the huge amount of warlords I got. Now I've got a smorgasbord of other stuff that I will turn around the camera and show you in just a second. So yeah, uncontrolled comic book greed on display here. So here we are with the easel again. People got all excited. Oh, I'm going to start painting. Show me your paintings. But believe me, I have not painted since maybe 1980, 1981. So it's going to take me quite a while to get to the point where I have paintings that are worth showing to anybody, if ever. We shall see. So we're starting off with a few more that were from the very... There was a good number of 50-cent boxes at this store, the Comic Book Adventure. So I am trying to collect all of the Action Comics Weekly, and I think I'm missing maybe 5 of them now, and they had one that I didn't already have. I like this cover a lot. I like that drawing of Phantom Lady. I wonder who drew it. It has a hint of Brian Boland, but it's not nearly as... There's no background or anything. It doesn't seem like Brian Boland to me, but I'm not sure. And of course, it won't say on the inside who drew it. So for those who don't know, Action Comics Weekly was a brief while where they turned Action Comics into an anthology magazine. And then just in hopes of finding something good with Supergirl, issue 4 of 5 of Maelstrom, Superman, Supergirl. So maybe I can find all of these. Interestingly, it's drawn by Phil Noto. I didn't even know he worked at DC at some point in the past, and that he would have done these straightforward kind of superhero stories. So that was interesting to me. Again, from the 50-cent bin. Also 50-cent bin, I never knew that Comico ever had the E-Man franchise. And this has the classic E-Man team on it. I assume it's not a reprint. Does this have a wraparound cover? There's a wraparound for Sam's Tangled Web. Not a reach around, a wraparound. That is a very cool cover. But I think it's new work from Joe Staton and Nicola Cutty, who I used to think was a woman, but apparently is a man, who is still writing. You can catch his writing in The Creeps. And then I found 2 issues of The World of Metropolis, written by John Byrne, drawn by others. So I have 2. I have issue 3 and issue 1, so I'm curious to get the rest of that. I really enjoy the John Byrne period, the short John Byrne period of Superman. He did a lot in that short period. The rest of these come from... The rest of the comics I'm going to show you come from their regular boxes. They also had a special boxes with extra expensive comics out front, but these were... It was described to me as anywhere between $2 and $20 comics were in the boxes that I picked from. Always like to get these mystery titles when the price is good. I love that cover. I don't really know what artist that's by. It's the kind of line work you don't see in modern comics at all. And then I found a couple of issues at a level that I was happy to pay for, of The Phantom Stranger, which I think, and I might be wrong, but I think back then it wasn't really the adventures of Phantom Stranger. Phantom Stranger was more like a host who played a little bit of a part in a horror story, but I might be wrong. This cover is by Jim Aparo, and it is amazing. It's I'm not used to Jim Aparo in his horror mystery mode, but that's a really cool, evocative cover. And another Phantom Stranger, that could be Jim Aparo also. I don't see a signature. I don't really know who that's by. But that's also an incredible cover, so I could not resist that. I assume that the shadow back here is of someone in the electric chair, and these are the witnesses to his death. And then I found a bunch of The Incredible Hulk. Now, I have to control my urge as a completist to want an entire run. But to get the entire run of the Hulk would probably be a big mistake for me. And what I really want is kind of the Herb Trimpe era. And preferably, Herb Trimpe being the artist, for those who don't know, of kind of a classic period of the Hulk in the late 60s and 70s. And so this looks like probably a 1970 or 1969 comic. And especially the issues written by Roy Thomas or Steve Englehart. I remember later in the 70s, Herb Trimpe was still on it. His art wasn't quite as exciting, and the stories maybe were less exciting by, I think, people like Len Wein and the like. But I love that cover. Herb Trimpe. In my headcanon, he's still Herb Trimpe, but I know I've learned from the YouTube comic community that it's Trimpe. I love Herb Trimpe covers. And I suppose, I ought to know more, but perhaps some of these Herb Trimpe covers are actually Marie Severin covers that designed by Marie Severin in the rough and then finished by Herb Trimpe. I'm not sure, but it turns out that Marie Severin did a lot of the basic cover design of a lot of Marvel comics from this sweet spot era for me. So I got issues number 132, 137, then 138. Sincerely Yours, The Sandman. That's kind of a goofy cover, but I love it. And then we got a picture window cover here with 145, also the 25-cent issue. Every Marvel comic between the 15-cent issues and the 20-cent issues has one 25-cent issue where they went extra length. So there it says, all new, a double-length action epic with the mightiest man-monster of all. And DC, I think, did this extra-length 25-centers for maybe 10 months or so. And supposedly it was a trick that Marvel played on DC where they pivoted their price so quickly that DC couldn't keep up, and that's when Marvel gained a lot of shelf space. Because most kids would rather pay 20 cents for a comic, even though it had less in it than the 25-cent price. Still the picture window. What's the picture window year? Is that 1970 or 1971? It was a whole year of picture windows. Probably 71, because I am told it's in celebration of Marvel's 10th anniversary. So love that cover, 147. Pretty sure it's Trimpe inked by John Severin, his greatest inker. A great inker in general. Anyone should be so lucky as to be inked by John Severin. And here I was only really looking for Tomb of Dracula number 63. And the reason for that is I bought a piece of artwork on the Heritage auction site of a Gene Colan page from this issue of the Tomb of Dracula. I used to own all 70 issues, which I accumulated around 1989, 1990, and lost, or I suspect was stolen from me by a roommate who was briefly living with me. And it pains me to re-buy them all now that they're much more expensive. So I'm just going for the, in general, I'm going for the omnibuses of Tomb of Dracula. But I wanted to own this issue since I own the artwork for it now, or one of the pages of artwork. Let me show you the page. And maybe at the end of this video, I can show you the piece of artwork. So it's near the... In this issue, Dracula has to fight Janus, who's kind of like an angel, kind of like a superhero, who... does he know yet that Janus is his son? I think not. Where's the page that I bought? Is it from this issue? Oh boy. Now I'm making a fool of myself. I thought it was from this issue. I bought 3 I bought 3 Draculas because they were there and the price was good. Who knows? I'll probably oh, here's the page that I got the original art from. I love that panel in particular. So perhaps you'll see that again. So then that was 63. Then I got 64. Dracula coming face to face with Satan. You can't get much better than that. And 65, more of your standard Dracula cover. Mind-numbing fear where no vampire has gone before, but he's just being attacked by the mob. No one in that mob has pitchforks. Kind of disappointing, but anyway. And then, my CLZ says that there's still a few Conans I don't have, including number 6. So I bought it. The price was pretty good. I love that cover, but it's kind of an odd cover actually because of the way the words are on the wing. The greatest sword and sorcery hero of them all, of all. And I don't know if they really believed that at the time, but it certainly has proved true since. And then I bought Conan the Barbarian number 8. Actually, this is a really cool cover. And I didn't even notice this has writing on it. That might explain why it was affordable. Oh well. Someone in 1971, that's probably the year it came out, I suppose. 5/18/71, is that when they bought it? Or was that like a date in which the reseller of it was going to pull it off the shelves or something? And then pretty much in sexy condition, I got this Creatures on the Loose, Gulliver Jones, Warrior of Mars, a Steranko cover. This would be one I would rebuy if I found a good copy because it's got these black stains on it. I don't know if those are printing errors or someone got black ink on it after the fact. It's also just a really beat up, wrinkly copy. But I couldn't resist it. Let's see what it looks like inside. Who did the art on Gulliver Jones? Probably not someone well known. Taking the tape off. But they definitely invested in a nice Steranko cover. Gray Morrow. Actually, I love Gray Morrow, although he's pretty obscure to Marvel fans. And he went on to be a painter of paperback science fiction covers and the like. Oh, and it's only 10 pages and then a reprint from a old horror comic. Anyway, yeah, that's really what you call sexy grade. Okay, and then I grabbed this Thor, which this was another one. It was like, I could swear I own this comic, but it's a comic I love, and my CLZ app said I didn't have it, so I thought, well, maybe I don't. Maybe I gave it away, and so I need to buy it again. Love the way Jack Kirby draws Magog there. Not sure who the inker is. Is the inker Vince Coletta or someone else on this cover? And for inexpensive, I couldn't resist this. Love this John Buscema cover with Hercules and Thor number 221. I had a subscription to this, to Thor at this time, and got this all folded up, and this looks like a subscription copy. I think I can see the fold there. Back in the old days, they sent subscription comics folded up and wrapped in a paper wrapper. So you really prayed it wasn't raining the day it was delivered to your house. And this one I also got at that time with my subscription. So that was $221 and this is $222. So just since they were inexpensive out of nostalgia, I thought I wanted to grab these 2 issues. I kind of have cut off my Thor collection around this era. And then here's a Sandman-related miniseries that I have no memory of. Written by Caitlin Kiernan and art by Joe Bennett. Is that the same Joe Bennett who did the Hulk? And they were selling the whole miniseries. Is it three of them for $4? So I grabbed that. Bast. Is that the cat god of Egypt? Maybe. So I'm very curious about that. And last, but hopefully not least, Batman Year 3. 4 issues for $6, so I couldn't resist that. Marv Wolfman writing, that's a good thing. Pat Broderick art, not a fan of that. Is this cover by Pat Broderick? It almost looks like Gene Day or something to me. And so there's 4 issues in here. Anyway, I'm looking forward to checking that out. I knew about Batman Year 2. I never knew about Year 3. Okay, that covers everything. So, I will be back soon. Thanks for joining me for this haul, and I hope you're all well.
Get caught up by the country, baby.